I think the key priorities for teaching in universities from a University of Derby corporate perspective is about making sure we continue to engage with businesses and deliver what's right for the business. And that's about making sure it's fit for purpose, relevant, and making sure that we're pushing and challenging their thinking as well as the academics' thinking. We've actually created a workforce development fellow role, which are my innovators and translators. They're commercially astute, credible in the commercial world, but also academics in their own right. So they kind of the bridge between the two worlds, and that's really enabled that cultural shift to have occurred. We've not got all the answers, and we've still got a journey to go on, but we've certainly started that journey. We work with industry. We don't just go in and do one-offs. We actually want to be part and parcel of their whole talent management, their whole people development strategy. And that's certainly what we're doing with the quarrying industry, for example, where we look at the whole picture. Higher education, particularly higher skills development, is absolutely critical for moving business on. It's the level 4 and above where we're talking about leadership, management, critical analysis, innovation, and taking those risks that are well informed that will make sure our economy is absolutely where it needs to be. But that also goes back to informing the social structure, and education changes lives, we know that. We've already seen a transformation in higher education. It's no longer delivered purely within institutes. You know, the workplace has become the new classroom, the new lecture theatre, and that makes it more accessible to more people. And that for me is the most transformational message we can get over today.
I'm responsible for somewhere in the region of about 250 students. That includes national and international as well. And of those 250, about 98% of them are already in full-time employment. Now, we actually deliver these programs in partnership with our industry, with the quarrying and asphalt industry, via the Institute of Quarrying and via the Institute of Asphalt Technology. And in fact, the partnership goes even further because the materials are actually owned by industry. So they're owned and updated on a regular basis.
Its aim is to replicate, in a virtual world environment, the problems and situations that quarry personnel may come across.
The majority of the teaching and learning is done at a distance. So basically, students get a username and a password, and they access our material stored onto the system. Supporting that, we also have some face-to-face contact. So around about 4 times a year, we have the students at the University of Derby Corporate, and we spend a Friday and a Saturday teaching face-to-face to back up some of their learning.
Right, I've given you a set of notes because it's going to be a fairly intensive session. What I'm going to try and cover in 2 hours is basic blast design.
The lecturers on the team have all been within either the quarrying industry, the mining industry, or the asphalt industry, or the concrete industry. So they can use their experience when they're teaching and pass on, you know, useful information, useful bits of experience to the students.
And imagine you've got some explosives in that hole as well, so mark that up as well, as if you've charged this hole with explosives. So you can use those terms as well.
Julian is one of our resident blasting experts, but we have certain people who come in and deal with environmental issues, restoration of quarries who we bring in as experts. And that offers a great deal to the course. We've now set up an international quarrying provision, so we're getting more of an international feel. We're somewhere in the region now of having perhaps people from around about 25 different countries submitting students to us from a range of probably between about 40 or 50 different employers. We'll kind of engage, we'll meet with the industry perhaps 3 or 4 times a year, say, you know, what is happening out there, what do we need, what else can we put into place to try and meet some of your requirements in terms of training. And that I can only really see increasing, to be honest with you.
The event's called Public History. It's the accumulation of one of our second year modules. During this module, they work together in teams of 4 or 5 to market, research and present a conference paper. We do this every year. We've done it in a whole series of different themes. So one conference was based around the theme of empire, another one was based around the theme of discovery. While history graduates have got an excellent reputation for working on their own, working with good initiative, and also working very well with research, we also wanted to make sure that they could demonstrate their ability to work well in a team. And so what we wanted to do something which is based around this teamwork skill, but also to demonstrate the public application of history.
It's quite a challenging event for the students because you can understand the idea of presenting a conference paper at a public event, so the audience is not just their fellow students or even people from within the institution, but we do make sure that they've gone to the effort to invite people from local history societies, people in the community generally who are interested in history. Lots of local schools and sixth forms have sent pupils along in the past few years as well, so it's quite a variety of people. They don't choose who they work with on the module, so the computer generates which group they're in, so they're not necessarily with their friends or even personality types that they always feel comfortable with, and that after all is the real world challenge, as we all realise that when you're in the world of work you don't necessarily pick your colleagues always, and you have to learn to get along with people, but also to recognise people's different talents. Part of the assessment for the module is designing a marketing strategy for their particular conference paper. So they put together websites, design posters, a whole host of different things. Some of them have been on the local radio to be interviewed about their paper specifically, and also the conference more generally as well. So they're showing those creative skills. Some of the academics who come to the conference from outside of their history team say, you know, that I've been to academic conferences that haven't been as good as that, haven't been as engaging as that, and where the level of knowledge hasn't been as impressive as what your students have shown today. So, and again, the students get that feedback from the audience, so that's a lift for them in terms of their self-confidence. It
goes through all the same rigour in terms of academic assessment as any of our other modules does, so we have both internal and external moderation. All of the history team go there as part of the event, so it's team graded with all of us working together, and also the written work goes through the same formal processes that all the other modules do as well.
We have a student who's now working for the Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire Chamber of Commerce, and he's certainly commented on the degree to which the presentation skills he's acquired have been very important to him. One of our students former students came back a couple of weeks ago to talk about his experiences in the Army Intelligence Corps now, and again he was talking very much about a whole range of transferable skills from history, not just the presentation things that we're talking about here, but the key research skills as well.
The students do feel part of a team, they feel well supported, and at the end of doing that they really feel, as one of the students said last year, that they can do anything now and they're not scared of anything anymore.
It's this infectiousness of the module really, and one of the students refers to it as the magic module, the one that perhaps more than anything they look back on and see, that's when I really matured as a student, that's when I really began to have confidence in where I could go with my degree and then where my degree could actually take me.